Kia ora koutou. Good afternoon. Well, it's been an absolute honour for both of us today, and I look forward to continuing the work that I've done, elevating the voices of people I've engaged with through my various communities in Cabinet.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the story is here. Do you want me to speak first, or you just ask questions?
Well, you both have received quite large promotions today. You into Cabinet and you into as ministerial position outside of Cabinet. What do you bring to the role, and why did you think you got the big promotions today? Well, look, I've been working incredibly hard in my 3 portfolios and the associate role that I've held over the last number of months. I've strengthened and deepened the relationships with various communities across those portfolios, and it's great to see that that's been recognised and that I will continue to advocate for them in Cabinet.
Yeah, I'm stoked. It's a huge honour, and there's quite a few members of the Labor Party caucus, and they've chosen me to fill that gap, and that's a huge privilege.
So you've got emergency management and local government, they're quite pretty hefty roles. What are you going to do differently in this role, and where are you going to take the big issues like free waters?
Well, it's unfortunate for you guys that I'm answering the questions now, because I'm not actually a minister yet, and I don't get sworn until 2:30 tomorrow, and so I can't. Yeah, sure, you got ideas, but I can't really talk about it until I get briefed, and I can't get briefed until I become a minister. So I can't really go into any policy stuff at this point, I'm sorry.
Do you have specific delegations in those portfolios?
No, I haven't had a yarn to the ministers yet, and I won't until I've been sworn in.
So you don't know what your delegations are for either level?
Well, the Prime Minister mentioned that she's keen for me to provide that regional focus, and I'm definitely keen to do that. That's why I got into politics. So I imagine it'll be something like that. She did touch on regional transport, so that's exciting. But outside of that, I don't really know.
Free waters has been pretty unpopular in some parts of the country, often regional New Zealand. Are you ready to kind of go into bat for those reforms in regional New Zealand?
Well, I believe in the approach that's being taken by the government. Reform is required. There's no doubt about that. Even those councils that have expressed concerns, most of them will say that reform is needed. And so I'm keen to have the chance to speak to the Minister, see where that delegation falls. It might not be on Three Waters, I don't know. But the job I had before I became an MP was as Regional Development Minister Economic Development Minister at the Marsden District Council, so I've got some experience in local government. So I'd be keen to have a yarn to hear about that and see where it falls.
Are you just saying representations from regional New Zealand back to the government if regional New Zealand convinces you that maybe some changes and carve-outs are needed for regional New Zealand and Free Waters?
Well, mate, I've sort of been doing that anyway as a local MP. Any decent local MP will talk to their key stakeholders, and in my electorate, that's definitely the councils. I've got 5 district councils, 3 regional councils, a lot of people to talk to, and we've been feeding that back to the ministers already. And just stoked to have been highlighted as someone that can contribute in this and keen to play my part.
You're here at racing. You've got a retired greyhound yourself.
I do.
What can people expect to see in that space, given it's got such bad publicity lately?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm not really experienced in this sort of stuff. So, this is the one that I'm particularly stoked about. I'm so passionate about the racing industry. I first started working in the racing industry when I was 15 years of age at the Marsden and Greyhound track, and my family's had a long history in that. So, yeah, honestly, to be named Racing Minister today is a huge honour for me. But again, I'm not really in a position to talk about what changes could happen or couldn't happen, because I need to have that briefing with the former minister now, and I can't do that till at least tomorrow afternoon. But I've got no concerns about the current approach that the government has taken in the racing industry, and indeed the signal that the minister's given the industry around its need to continue to improve on certain aspects to maintain its social licence. So I've got no concerns there.
Do you have a view on whether racing in the future should be pulled into the sport and recreation portfolio and not be a separate portfolio the way it is at the moment?
Yeah, I know some people have some quite strong views about whether there should be a racing minister. Obviously, I feel there should be. Racing's more than just going to the track and having a punt. It's actually a significant export industry, contributes just as much to the GDP as fisheries, and no one's suggesting we get rid of the fisheries minister. So I think that in this role, it's a real opportunity to highlight that to the country and demonstrate the benefit of the racing industry to the country, but in particular to regional New Zealand.
When did the Prime Minister call you and not you, both of you?
Oh, I'm not going to go into detail there, but it's all happened quite quickly. Yeah.
We had a yarn last week, but I didn't know the details till today. So, yeah, I was hoping to get racing. I got it, so I'm stoked.
Are you guys sad to see Chris Parker go?
I am, I'll miss him, but I do understand why he's wanting to leave to spend more time with his family, and it's hard to argue with that, but I will miss him.
Fafs is a good mate of mine, a genuine top bloke, and I know that he's made the right decision for him and his family, so I wish him well.
And are you excited about Adrian Radhakrishnan stepping into that speaker role?
I think you'll see with Adrian is that he's got the respect of the House he has had for the whole time, and I'm sure he'll do an excellent job.
Does Trevor have that respect?
Well, Adrian is moving into that role now, and so I don't see much point in arguing or discussing about the views of Trevor. The point is that he's now resigned, and everyone, I'm sure if you talk to the opposition parties, everyone will welcome the fact that Adrian's going to be the Speaker.
Kieran, you've got one of the biggest electorates in the country, It's a pretty marginal electorate, and it was difficult to win for you over a number of elections. Are you worried that this burden on your time will make it more difficult to get around that to win it back?
Well, there's always that balance, eh? Like, you'll be less time in the electorate, but you've got more opportunities to advocate for them being as part of the executive. So I think there's that trade-off, and that's not a bad thing. I've prided myself in being visible in the electorate. That's why I was the first MP to come up with that mobile electorate office and get it approved by Parliamentary Service. I'll still be using that, just probably not as much as I have been. But if you spend your time in Parliament worrying about the next election, you don't enjoy the time you've got. So I'm just going to use the next 18 months to work on my portfolios and push Wairarapa, Tararua districts and Central Hawke's Bay every chance I get.
What can you, in terms of regional transport, what is the focus there going to be? There's been some concerns about the amount of land transport funding that goes to the region. There have been concerns raised about stuff like the Clean Car Standard penalising vehicles that are used in regional New Zealand.
Well, again, I need to talk to Mick about that, but ultimately I think we've got a great story to tell about regional transport. Just look at Wairarapa, for example. This government funded the replacement of the Manawatu Gorge. We're finally fixing the Wairarapa rail line, which was in parts 50 years old, and Masterton got its 3 roundabouts, which I've been advocating for. So I think that there is a good story to tell, and I'm pretty keen to play my role in telling it.
It's in your role under workplace relations, will you be looking at pay gaps, racism in the workplace, what sort of areas will you be?
Yeah, look, there are a few options there. I haven't had a good enough discussion yet with Minister Wood. He's overseas, of course, so when he comes back we will have that discussion. But as the Prime Minister has signalled, there will be a role for me there in terms of addressing, or the work that we're doing to address migrant worker exploitation. It's an area that I've been passionate about for a long time, so I look forward to it.
And 35 years in Parliament, just following questions about Trevor Miller, particularly a redeeming memory that you may have as the Speaker.
Yeah, look, there are so many, frankly. But what I'll say is to acknowledge the years of service that Trevor's given in this place, and I think, from what for us, we've been here for a much shorter time, and I'm truly grateful for the work that he's done. The work that he's done to make this Parliament a more family-friendly place has been phenomenal, and I've spent a fair bit of time with Trevor, and consider him a friend as well.
Can I ask both of you, reshuffles are a change, transfer, reset, a shake-up. Do you think this government, which has lost the support of some of the public over the last few months, do you think this government needs a bit of a shake-up?
Look, this is a reshuffle that was triggered by the departure of one minister sooner and another one in some time to come, and there were some places to fill, and really that's what the Prime Minister has done.
Can I ask you that, Kieran? Do you think this government needs a bit of a pep-up or a little mid-season break or something similar?
Well, there's no question that this is more of a case of filling a vacancy than a reshuffle per se. Most of the ministers have kept the portfolios that they had, and they're focused on that. The PM's suggested that will come at a later date to give, I suppose, ministers a decent time in their portfolio to finish the reforms that they're underway at the moment. And there's no question that pretty much every incumbent government at the moment is suffering in the polls, and because times are tough at the moment. But we've got 18 months to really demonstrate that our investment in the future is the right way to go, and our focus on supporting those that need it is the way to go. And we can highlight the fact that the New Zealand economy is actually doing pretty good. So all those things considered, 2 years of COVID and now the cost inflation, etc., I think we're doing pretty well, to be honest.
As Labor whip, how's morale?
Well, it's pretty good. And not just because they've changed whip. but it's been good the last couple of years. It's a tough job looking after 65 MPs, and Duncan Webb's definitely up for it. And so every time we meet at caucus, the morale's pretty good. We've had a focus in the Whip's office. We've changed a lot this year. We've brought in a learning and development program for our MPs, and that gives them an opportunity to reflect on how they're going, identify the areas that they want assistance with, and then we bring in people to help them with that, and that certainly helps. I think the biggest thing for morale is everyone needs to feel like they're part of the team and contributing, and I'm sure they do.
And we're a close team. Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.